8 o'clock on a Sunday. Regular crowd shuffles in. There's an old man, he's sitting next to me, making love to his tonic and gin. He said, son, can you play me a memory? I'm not really sure how it goes, but it's sad and it's sweet, and I knew it complete when I wore a younger man's clothes. La la la, la la la, la la la, la la la, la la. hope you are, and you got us feeling alright. Now John at the bar, he's a friend of mine. He gets my drinks for free. And he's quick with a joke, or he'll light up your smoke. But there's some place that he'd rather be. He said, John, I believe this is killing me. As the smile ran away from his face. Oh, I know I could be a big movie star if I could get out of this place. La la la, la la la, la la la, la la la, la la la. Sing us a song, you're the piano man. Sing us a song tonight. Well, we're all in the mood for a melody. You are, aren't you? Well, you got us feeling all right. He's a real estate novelist who never had time for a wife. And he's talking with Davy, who's still in the Navy and probably will be for life. And the piano, it sounds like a carnival, and the microphone smells like a beer. And they sit at the bar, hands put bread in my jar, and say, man, what are you doing here? La la la, la la la, la la la, la la la, la la. Sing us a song, you're the piano man. Sing us a song tonight. Well, we're all in the mood for a melody, and you've got us feeling all right. There's a pretty good crowd for Sunday. And the manager, well, she gives me a smile.
And a present.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you've got to open that. Victoria Moy sent it through. You've got to open that before you carry on.
It's massive.
The Pointy Sticks people have been in action.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness, more. There are two. Oh wow.
These are incredible.
Oh, they're beautiful.
One each. Look, one for you.
Oh.
Oh, and look, there's Owlie. Oh, here we go, look. Here's Owlie.
Oh, there he is. Oh my
There he
goodness.
is.
That is exquisite,
Is this
guys.
Victoria? Is this
Victoria, obviously. Victoria, did you organise this? This is stunning. Absolutely beautiful. I thought that probably you'd sent a knitted version of Jonathan Veira through.
That's a bit.
That's beautiful.
I feel like
Thank you. That's my colours, so I'll have that one, please.
Okay.
You
put that one on,
can have the one with Owlie.
and we'll put those in, and then what I'll do. Hold on.
So for those of you who are sitting there thinking, I don't quite understand what this is all about, these are blankets so that when we're feeling a bit sad, it's we can wrap these round us, and we can know that people are praying for us, holding us in their thoughts, whatever. This is our. We are loved. And the wee donkey. And the wee donkey. Thank you, Victoria, for organising. Thank you for everyone who contributed to these beautiful, beautiful blankets.
I suspect people have crocheted bits.
Yes. Crocheted and knitted. Lots of knitting going on.
Gosh, this is huge.
Thank you.
So this will
You must write and tell me which was your square. You've been working on it since March.
That's a pretty good crowd.
Oh, thank you.
For a Sunday. And the Sharpie sticks.
Pointy sticks.
Pointy sticks. Give us a smile. Because they know that it's all of you who've been knitting and crocheting so that we could forget about life.
Amen.
For a while. Oh, and the piano, it sounds like a carnival. And the microphone, it smells like a beer. And they sit at the bar, hand with bread in my jar, and say, man, what are you doing here? La la la, la la la, la la la, la la la, la la la. Sing us a song, you're the piano man. Sing us a song tonight. Well, we're all in the mood for a melody. You've got us feeling all right. Sacrificially and beautifully.
And I've just been told that there's a card, so I'm just going to try and take the card off the front. Hang on a second.
Okay. Well, while you're doing that, we've got a very busy show tonight, and I have to tell you, I'm not feeling too good tonight. I'm taking what are called immunosuppressives, so those of you who are taking them will know what I mean. And it's quite a high dosage, and it's messed with nearly everything. My temperature, I've got the chills, and I've got frequent calls to the loo, let's say that. So
he might be heading off and I might be taking over, which is everyone's wish, as we know.
And that is what you always... Can't wait to hear Sue on the banjo. So I'm not... you have to take them before you have a transplant. They're anti-rejection drugs for the transplant. Hopefully that will be occurring on Wednesday. Those of you who are tuning in, who don't know I'm having a kidney transplant, Sue's given me one of her kidneys, and we're doing that on... we're going up on Tuesday. I've got dialysis tomorrow and dialysis Tuesday, and then that's it. We're off. So for those of you...
on Tuesday, but yes, the surgery is still on the Wednesday.
Yes, it's still on the Wednesday. Well. And all being well that they don't cancel it, which is known to happen. In the meantime, I thought I'll try, and as much as I can, sing for you and do a few old favourites, because I won't be singing for some time and for a few weeks, and so... Who knows what will happen, so who can tell? What does it say, Sue?
It says, to our wonderful Sue and JV, you have given us so much over this last year and a bit, and now it is our turn. We can't physically be with you during your surgery recovery. Even in non-COVID times, the hospital may frown upon us all turning up to see you. Instead, here is a blanket each so that you can wrap yourselves in the community's love and prayers.
Thank you.
As we watched on the Sunday evening, members of Pointy Sticks Corners have been busy making the squares and sending them for joining. Victoria, I sense it went back to that cryptic post you put up, and I asked you if you were okay.
Excellent. Thank you, Victoria, for again, it's the thought behind it. We were talking to somebody today about this, exactly this, about the community that has come up, and I'll be talking to somebody in a minute who we had a little conversation about what is church. In a way, what you people have demonstrated, those of you who don't even go to church, have demonstrated what church actually is, which is community and love and warmth and kindness. And anyway, sing a few songs, and this one, it's just lovely. I did it last week, but I want to do it again because I just like the song and I like the feeling. And we're very glad that we're having the surgery now.
Yes, we're going to be out in the garden afterwards.
And my beautiful sister Ruth gave us a lovely gazebo.
And Martin.
and the living is easy. Fish are jumping and the cotton is high. Oh, your daddy's rich and your ma is good looking. So hush, little baby, don't you cry. Summertime and the living is easy. Fish are jumping and the cotton is high. Yeah, that is rich and your ma is so good looking. So hush, little baby, don't you cry. One of these mornings you're gonna rise up singing. You're gonna spread your wings and you take to the sky. Until that morning, there ain't nothing can harm you with your daddy and mammy standing by. Summertime and the living is easy. Fish are jumping and the cotton is old. So very, very high. Your daddy's rich and your mom is so good looking. So hush, little baby, don't you cry. So hush, little baby, don't you cry. So hush, my little baby, don't you cry. Ba-doop, 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 bum.
Wow, that was great. I enjoyed that again.
Yeah, it was good to sing it, wasn't it? And now, this song for an old friend, to a lady who got me out of trouble this week. Susan Legg, and I hope you're listening tonight. And Sue and Steve wrote last week and was just so sweet on the thread. And Sue is my boss at work at university, and I left all the examination stuff in
all the notes that
I'd taken
as the chief
for all the
examiner.
students.
He'd left them in a pad on a altar in the chapel or something, but he didn't know that that's where he'd left it.
I thought it was at the my diocese unit, and I went there, drove there all the way there, couldn't find anywhere, and I turned the house upside down, and it was an official document, and it had all the results. And Sue eventually, I remembered where I thought I'd left it, and she found it there a week later. Nobody had moved it; it hadn't been moved. So I was able to type it all up. My sister Ruth just, I dictated it to her. She's a touch typist.
She was marvellous. Meant that I didn't have to do it.
And that was it. So for them, an old song, which I hope I will get back to singing when the anaesthetists are very careful as they bag me past my vocal folds and don't damage them, so then I can come back and sing Old Man River, that old man river, he don't say nothing must know something just keeps rolling, keeps on rolling along. He don't plant taters, he don't plant cotton. Them that plants them is soon forgotten. Oh, but Old Man River just keeps rolling along. You and me, sweat and strain, body all aching and racked with pain. Tote that barge, lift that pail. You get a little drunk and you land in jail. I get weary and sick of trying, I'm tired of living, and I'm scared of dying. Oh, but Old Man River just keeps rolling along. You and me, we sweat and strain, body all aching and racked with pain. Tote that barge, lift that pail. You get a little drunk and you land in jail. Oh, I get weary and sick of trying, I'm tired of living, and I'm scared of dying. Oh, but Old Man River, he just keeps rolling along, just keeps rolling window, please. I'm absolutely baking here.
Over boiling now, are you? Okay.
I'm afraid I am. I'm going, basically, I get too hot, then I get too cold, and I get too hot, and I get too cold. My body feels like I feel for people, those ladies who've been through that moment in their lives.
I used to moan about.
And so, let's go to Why Don't You Swing? Here we go. Play it to me, baby.
Oh, she's almost there.
Oh. You there? How are we doing?
Yeah, she's got it. Thank you, Rachel.
Thank you, Rachel. Here we go. Why don't you swing down, chariot, stop and let me ride? Why don't you swing down, chariot, stop and let me ride? Rock me, Lord, calm and easy. I got a home on the other side. Swing, 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 swing. Why don't you swing, 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 Well, Ezekiel went down in the middle of a field. He saw an angel working on a chariot wheel. He wasn't so particular about the chariot wheel. He just wanted to see how a chariot feels. Why don't you swing down, chariot, stop and let me ride? Why don't you swing down, chariot, stop and let me ride? Rock me, Lord, calm and easy. I got a home on the other side. Swing, 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 swing. Oh, why don't you swing, swing, swing? Well, Ezekiel went down and he got on board. The chariot went bumping on right down the road. Now Zeke was so particular about the bumping on the road. He just wanted to lay down his heavy load. Why don't you swing down, chariot, stop and let me ride? Why don't you swing down, chariot, stop and let me ride? Rock me, Lord, calm and easy. I got a home on the other side. Well done. Well played, Mark. Bring it down, please. Swing down, chariot, stop and let me ride. Why don't you swing down, chariot, stop and let me ride? Rock me, Lord, calm and easy. I got a home on the other side. Why don't you swing down, chariot, stop and let me ride? Why don't you swing down, chariot, stop and let me ride? Rock me, Lord, calm and easy. I got a home on the other side. 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 And
well
so,
done, JV, and well done, Rachel, for doing all that camera work.
It was great work from all our techie team. And those of you who've seen, Ben's been up there having a week with Claire and
2 weeks.
2 weeks with Claire and with Rachel, and they've had a great time visiting the sights of Barrow. So that after the first 3 minutes of what I'm just saying,
you're so rude. You used to go there every year for your holiday.
I did. That was our holiday place. That was it. And the sights of Barrow, it was the nuclear power station. I used to play opposite. My parents didn't tell me about that.
That could explain a lot.
It could explain a lot, exactly. Cockle picking on the Barrow beaches. I don't want to go into that. I'd like to speak to my first guest tonight. Yay. We've got a packed show tonight, and we've got the lovely Karen Bate on. Karen, are you there? Wait a minute. Let's just see where she is. And are you there? Have you unmuted everything?
Yeah.
Nearly.
Yeah.
Nearly. Here we go.
There we
go. There we go. That's it, Karen. It takes a little moment for everything to come through. How are you, Karen, my darling?
Yeah, I'm okay, thank you. It's lovely to see it from this angle.
Yeah, it's lovely to have you on the show. And the reason it's a packed show tonight. We've got Graham Kendrick. You're on with Graham Kendrick tonight, so you're in good company. And Adrian Pinnock, who's coming on to talk about YGAF. But we're going off for a few weeks, and you put up a post about a week ago now, talking about prayer. Now that, for some people, because this is a community, as you know, and as I always say every week, it's a community of people of faith and no faith at all, or of little faith, or different faiths. They all come and they congregate around this room, and they all come into this room. But tell us, what is it that you have set up and why you set it up, Karen? Tell us about that.
Well, I was thinking about how we could support you and Sue. Most of us don't live locally. So the first thing that came to mind, because that's how my brain works, is we can pray for you. I'm certainly not in Pointy Sticks corner, so I can't do anything with a blanket, but we can pray. It's easy, it's part of our everyday life. We'll think, and when we think about people, that's what I think of as prayer. We think about someone, we want to hold on to them and hold space for them so they can be part of our lives and our journey. So I just wanted to set something up so we could pray for you guys, and so you guys understood the depth of our love for you and how grateful we are for what you've been doing for the last 15, 16 months.
That's fantastic, Karen. And it was heartfelt. When I read it, I hadn't read it and seen it before, and when I read it, I was quite moved. I was in a little bit of a teary moment, and there have been quite a few of those recently. And tell us how it's going to work and what people can do.
So essentially,
those who haven't seen it,
if whether you're a praying person or not, we'll think about you. Little moments, songs, tunes drop into our mind, and we think, oh, Jonathan and Sue. So instead of just doing that on an ad hoc basis, what I thought would be good is if for at least 1 week, this coming week, we could just be intentional about it, be deliberate, and say, I'm going to spend 10 minutes thinking about you guys, or 30 minutes or an hour or whatever. Just pray for you, think about you, hold space for you guys. This is a huge thing, as we know. Thankfully, David and Roz last week shared their story, and it's huge. I hadn't fully grasped the implications of what you guys are going through. So it was like, you know what? We need to be praying. That's the best thing I can think of to do for you. So we're going to pray from, well, I'm starting tonight. We're going to pray. I've split the 24 hours into 3-hour slots. So, 6 a.m. in the morning till 9, 9 till 12, 12 till 3, etc., etc. And anybody can pray. Anybody can think about you and just sort of consider the journey you're on. So things we can pray for, and I will post these on the page. So they're little reminders. You don't have to pray more than once. You can just pray once. It doesn't have to be every day, but it gives us a bit of a framework. So we can pray that the surgery isn't cancelled for any reason. Pray that the surgical staff are fit and healthy and get a good night's sleep the night before. That you guys keep well, that you gracefully start to heal, and that you don't try and rush it, and dash into healing and getting up and about, that you give your bodies time to recover. So that's basically what it is. So each morning and evening, we'll drop something on the JV community page, and also on the Tuesday night and the Wednesday morning, there will be a link for Zoom where those who are available can come together and we can just pray together for you guys. It'll be sort of led. There'll be somebody, kind of in charge. But that's Stuart McCready and John Dix. I'm not quite sure how that's going to go. It could go very...
Could be disastrous. They could forget maybe just not get up,
So, but that will be on the page. Check the page out. The admin team are going to pin that for us, so it'll be somewhere near the top. And also on Monday night, shout out for Rob Barron. He does his radio show, Hope FM.
Yes.
I'm hoping that he's going to post that again for us, and they're going to pray for you there as well in the middle of the show. So, and there's probably lots of other things happening as well, but this is just something. That's all.
That is a lovely thing, actually, Karen, and we are so grateful to you and to the community and those organising it. Those we're gonna move on now, but it's so lovely to see your face and give our love to Heather. Won't you please do, and a big hug from us, and we look forward to being able to be together in the garden in a few weeks' time, and that's where we can meet people. But that will be quite a few weeks from now. But nevertheless, thank you for your prayers and thank you for your concern, and that's wonderful. Karen, have a lovely night. Enjoy the rest of the show. Enjoy Adrian and Graham Kendrick, and enjoy the evening. Nice to see you, darling.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. And if anybody's got any queries, I've got to take 2 paracetamol. I'm both burning up here. Hold on.
Whilst Jonathan's doing that, Rachel, can you put me on screen? Thank you. We are so grateful because so many of you are just sending us messages, dropping us cards, and we know thinking of us. And we had a very special little parcel arrived yesterday from a certain young man called Chris, and he sent us these lovely, if I can get them on the screen there, Papa Smurfs. As you can see, there's one for me and there's one for JV. And they've got Keep Smiling on them. And apparently when Chris was going into hospital, he had this little Papa Smurf that he had as a gift, and it went into hospital whenever he was poorly, whenever he needed help. So sweet Chris made us our own Papa Smurf. So
Thank
I've got
you,
one,
Christopher.
Jonathan's got one.
I've got one. I should put them in and go in my bag.
They will go into hospital with us.
And I'll try and take a photograph of me
Yes, with
just
your Papa
before the
Smurf.
surgeon cuts into my body. He's just like, and I'll say, wait! And I'll say, wait, Smurf. You've been smurfed. Can we have, please, before we speak to Adrian Pinnock, what a difference a day makes. Let's just put that up. Okay. If you wouldn't be so...
she's
if
just
you'd
finding it.
be so kind, what a difference a day makes. Let's have it. Thanks, lovey.
She's just finding it. Just finding it.
Okay. Here we go.
She's got a slight
And this
problem.
one
It's
is
got
for
a touch of lag on. I think
Is David? This is for David Hicks.
Yes, David Hicks and Elizabeth Muston,
Elizabeth
who are
Muston,
married
and
have been married for
34 years
today.
And David has been an absolute stalwart during this time. And Elizabeth doing our wills and various other things, making sure. So we sing this for them. Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary, guys. Thank you.
And this one is for you. Boom, boom. From the new album, here it goes. What a difference a day made. 24 little hours brought the sun and the flowers where there used to be rain. My yesterday was blue, dear. Today I'm part of you, dear. My lonely nights are through, dear, since you said you were mine. What a difference a day makes. There's a rainbow before me. Skies above can't be stormy. Since that moment of bliss, that thrilling kiss, it's heaven when you find romance on your memory. What a difference a day made. And the difference is you. Come on, band. Ben Cross on sax. So beautiful. Hope you're dancing to this, David and Elizabeth. Front lounge, right now. Oh, my yesterday was blue, dear. Today I'm part of you, dear. My lonely nights are through, dear. Since you said you were mine, all mine. What a difference a day makes. There's a rainbow before, skies above can't be stormy. Since that moment of bliss, that thrilling kiss, it's heaven when you find romance on your menu. What a difference a day made, and the difference is you. Is you. Is you, my baby, sweet baby, it's you. What a lovely play out with Mark Edwards on piano and Darren E. Beckett on drums and Arnie Soverji on double bass with a string orchestra. Too many to mention. There it is, for David and Elizabeth Hicks.
Sharon,
Right.
Can I just say, Sharon Byers just said, let's all hope that one day on the 9th it makes the hugest possible difference for JV.
Amen
Thank you, Sharon.
to that. Thank you, Sharon. And now we go to our great friend in the Isle of Wight on Zoom. He's coming on with joining us now as we go out to... Hello, Adrian.
Hello, Jonathan. How are you?
All right, I'm going to turn you down a bit because you are not loud and clear. Adrian, it's still light outside. The last time I did this, you laughed at me because it was dark outside. Can you see the sea yet?
Okay, I'll show you.
Go on.
Okay, there we are.
Here's the view from their window, chaps.
Hang on, we'll get the sea in a moment. What you've got there, you've got this.
Ah, there you
fog,
are.
And can you
There
see
it
the
is.
fog? Can you see the fog bank?
Yes, I can. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been.
Well, I'm glad I'm not there now, that's all.
Yeah, we've just seen a lifeboat go rushing out to rescue a stricken yacht. So.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Right, that's the key. Don't sail.
Yeah,
That's my
not my
advice to
fault.
you. No, not
Nothing to do with me. It wasn't my fault.
But you're one of the
Jonathan,
watchers. You're one of the watchers. You're one of the watchers, aren't you?
I am at the Needles. I volunteer there as the National Coast Watch Institution. So it's.
I've
it's
been
a
up
good
there
thing.
with you. It's fantastic.
Yeah. And if you have to rush off, Jonathan, I've got my comb and paper ready.
Yeah, so ready to play. Dun, 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 dun. You can play all the Graham Kendrick's greatest hits.
I will.
I'm sure he'll be thrilled to hear from you.
Yeah, John Dick and Rob Barron on jokes. So
On jokes, yeah. That's not going to be a laugh a
Yeah.
minute, is it? Then, now, very briefly, we're going off for a few weeks, and I just wanted to highlight the work of YGAF. You've got a friend trust, or got a friend trust, as it's been shortened to. We instituted this, and I just want to make it absolutely clear why we instituted this charity. We started 58 shows ago, and we started seeing people very quickly who were in need of an arm around them, a quick arm around them, somebody who needed to be there as quickly as we could get it out to them.
Yeah.
Due diligence, of course, but the idea was that somebody was in need and that Sue and I would answer that need through money that was given by you people and our own money. And we chose to give away 25% of whatever we received, and often we gave away a lot more to people who were in need. But we felt the need to formalise it, and so we were separate from it, so it didn't look as though favouritism was part of it, and that the Charities Commission could see that we had nothing to do with the money directly and would not benefit. However, we are after the expediting of, and while we're away, we don't want this to grind to a halt. We'd like it to move quickly, and for these small gifts, because that's what they are, to go out to people as quickly as possible. Would you echo that? That was our vision, yours and mine, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, Jonathan. And I just look back, if I can, for a moment, of what the trust actually stands for. It says the relief of those in need by reasons of youth, age, ill health, disability, financial hardship, or any other disadvantage, in particular, but not exclusively, by making grants of money for providing or paying for items, service, or facilities. And I think, it's about time, it's time that us, the trustees, have a bit of reflection, especially with the situation that you and Sue find yourself in. And I think it's always good to look at learnings. And I think some of the learnings that we need to take away are that maybe we can overcomplicate things and we need to, or overthink. And I think we need to see the need rather than trying to solve the problem. I think as well, and I think as well, we're not the social services, but we can direct people to organisations like CAT, for instance.
Yes. Christians Against Poverty, for those who don't know what that is.
Yeah, Christians Against Poverty. And we should be reacting a bit quicker than we do. I know I've said not overanalyzing, but we shouldn't be overanalyzing a need, because every hour we analyze, you then get stagnation, and we don't want that. I'm realizing that the people in need are in need and they are waiting. So I think as the trustees, we need to take, to quote, a cold towel moment and just analyze what we're doing and how we're doing it. And especially with you and Sue not being around, because the majority, if not all, the needs have come from you both, of which as trustees, we're grateful. But I guess our concern is that if you're out of the loop for a while, we don't want things to come to a halt.
No.
But also, and I think critically that hopefully everyone understands and my fellow trustees understand, is that we don't want you both having concerns and being worried that things aren't happening, because that won't help your recovery.
No,
people can contact us very simply via the Facebook page, the giving page on the YGAF page, through the contact. I know it's Got a Friend Trust is up on the screen at the moment. They can email gotafriend2020 at gmail.com. That comes straight through to me. And I react to these as quickly as I can. I sort of set myself a challenge that's always within 24 hours. And we go back and ask people for a bit more information, so the trustees have all the information that we can to make the right decisions. But I think a lesson we've got to have as trustees is to react quicker and stronger and a bit more faithfully, in faith, I think, as well.
I think so. That was our vision for it, as it wasn't it. I mean, for you and I, it was answering the need then and there. We're not an agency of the social services, and so we don't need to know every detail of their life. What we need to know is that, I mean, it's quite interesting though that when we think about, there are people out there, people say, well, they could use us. Yes, they could. But I think the figures are that within the social services, 8% is fraud of a country, of the appeals. Well, that means to me 92% of those that are given are legitimate. And when I'd rather live in a place where some of it we may get wrong, but actually we would rather give and then ask questions afterwards. Yeah. And we have to be responsible, and we give money as much as we can, and we give in faith in that you make a good and a quick decision on people's needs. I mean, that's basically it. You've been doing fantastic things as trustees, and I'm really grateful that you've taken this on, all of you. And I just want you to do it with joy, and I don't want you to become angst with it, and I don't want it to become a burden. That would be the last thing I wanted or Sue wanted when we set this up.
And also, I just want to say, we value each other as trustees. And
You do.
each one leads a busy life, and we take our roles and responsibility seriously. You know, we have Colin Matthews, Deborah Pepper, and Jonathan Stevens, and we all take this exceptionally seriously. And you know, hopefully we can. We know we've got to learn some lessons from the first 6 months. You know, 22 grants have been made so far.
Fantastic.
And I'm not going to say the amounts because that wouldn't be the right thing to do.
No.
But ideas, you know, from a microwave for helping somebody fix their spectacles, food vouchers, some car repair, some sofa bed and table for a lady. I'm not even going to go into why.
No.
But I think the one that I love the most is the gift of just wrapping your arm around somebody.
Yes.
Which is what you and I sat in that pub
Restaurant. Yeah, we did.
nearly a year ago.
Yeah, it was.
And said, that's what the community is about. And I think, you know, our prayers, love, support are to you both. And whatever way people believe in prayer or thoughts or just being a decent person, wrapping your arms around somebody and just saying, how are you, is probably the greatest gift you can give. And I think from the JV community and the God of Friend Trust, that's something we should take forward with us. And
Amen.
Jonathan and Sue, we wrap our arms around you.
Thank you, and thank you for the work you're doing. People can give, and please, we ask you to give to God of Friend Trust. It doesn't matter a small amount. Lots of people giving a small amount equals a lot of money that the trustees can give away. And I hope actually that whilst we're down with this for a number of weeks, that many people will be helped, and I'm sure they will. And your generosity as a community is now legendary. And it was on radio this morning, and how generous you all were on BBC Radio Sussex and Surrey. Thank you, Emily, for taking us on and having us there. Thank you, my dear boy. We'll be in contact with you very soon, all right? And
just finally, just so that everybody knows, there is no administration costs on this at all. 100% goes out.
And that is so your BMW is not on its way, basically.
No,
okay,
but I just hope it's not John Dick, the first person you see when you wake up from your operation.
That's right. I could do without that, couldn't I? Anyway, right. Bless you. We've got to go. Great. See you, Adrian. And let's just put that. Remind ourselves of that great song. Give me a little break before I sing a song for Graham. Here we go. You got a friend. And this reminds us, actually, of the community that has made all this possible. And
when you're down, untroubled, and you need some love and care, nothing is going right. Close your eyes and think of me, and soon I will be there to brighten up even your darkest night. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running to see you again. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you gotta do is call, and I'll be there. Yes, I will. You got a friend.
Right, and Matthew just served me the smallest cup of coffee. Right?
Be grateful.
Looking through the clouds, and I hope north wind begins to blow. Keep your head together now and call my name out loud. Soon I'll be knocking at your door. Oh, you just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running to see you again. Oh, oh, oh. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you gotta do is call, and I'll be there. Yes, I will. Now, ain't it good to know that you've got a friend when people can be so cold? They'll hurt you and desert you and take your soul if you let them. But don't you let them. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running to see you again. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you gotta do is call, and I'll be there. Yes, I will. You got a friend, oh darling. You got a friend, my sweet darling. You got a friend, oh honey. You got a friend, oh darling. It's a great track, and it always makes me emotional seeing all of you on there.
Too.
Look
Me
forward
too.
to, after the operation, recording the song with you. Go Tell It
Yes.
on the Mountain, that we're going to be doing with you all. Anyway, Sue, quick.
Yes. Lovely Jo Hilton, who is in that video with her wonderful
Baby.
Maggie Rose, jogging around there to the music. It's her birthday tomorrow. So, Jo, very happy birthday to you. Want to dedicate this next song to you. And also, Brian Lloyd, you are 72 years young today. So, hope that you're recovering from your heart surgery and that you're feeling fighting fit at 72 years. So, happy birthday as well today.
From Heaven You Came, introducing my friend and colleague, Graham Kendrick. This is from the Christmas album. I recorded this so many years ago now, 11 years ago now. One of his most beautiful and stunning songs. Thank you for this one, Graham. From heaven you came, helpless babe, entered our world, your glory veiled, not to be served, but to serve, and give your life that we might live. This is our God, the servant King. He calls us now to follow Him, to bring our lives as a daily offering of worship to the servant King. There in the garden of tears, my heavy load He chose to bear. His heart with sorrow was torn, yet not my will, but yours, He said. This is our God, the servant King. He calls us now to follow Him, to bring our lives as a daily offering of worship to the servant King. Come see His hands and His feet, the scars that speak of sacrifice, hands that flung stars into space, to cruel nails surrendered. Our God, the servant King, He calls us now to follow Him, to bring our lives as a daily offering of worship to the servant King. So let us learn how to serve, and in our lives enthrone Him, each other's needs to prefer. For it is Christ we're serving. Our God, the servant King. He calls us now to follow Him, to bring our lives as a daily offering of worship to, of worship to, of worship to the servant King.
And I think that's a perfect introduction to my next guest, a very special guest we have in the studio tonight. And I'm really thrilled to welcome him here to the Steinway room and to all of you. Sir Graham Kendrick. Sir Graham, how are you?
I haven't been knighted just yet, but I'm very well as an unknighted Graham. Hello, Sue.
Hello, Graham. Hello.
Nice to see you.
I'm just going to keep him in order. Is that all right?
You go that way.
Okay.
That's it. We're sitting on a twosy stool, so
Yeah,
it's all a bit cramped in the room. So it's,
Graham, can I just say that is a magnificent song. It is just so beautifully written. The lyrics are just so fresh every time we hear them. I just think it was beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Where did you sort of get the inspiration for that?
Well, the thing that triggered it, because the story which is wrapped up in the song, had been with me for since I was a child, and had grabbed my fascination, attention. But I was involved with an Easter event. Some of you might have heard it, called Spring Harvest. Really big, thousands of people gathering and worshipping. Now, I was involved from the beginning of that, and fairly early on in its history, they used to choose a theme every year, all right? And everything that happened to Spring Harvest was built around that theme. So, and then they started to write out to songwriters to say, this is the theme for next year. Can you write a song around that theme? And the general title for the upcoming year was The Servant King. And as I looked at that title, I thought, I don't need to go any further than that. It's all in there. Those two words, servant and king, don't usually sit together. Kings have servants and so on, but kings are not usually servants and servants are not usually kings, etc. So I just began to dig into that and unpack it. What does this mean? So in my usual way, I spent many hours poring over lyrics and trying it this way, but it came together, and it came together in that kind of special way. Not every song comes together like that. I wish there were more.
It's a lot of hard work that goes into it, isn't it? They're not just inspiration, is it?
You used to say, didn't you, when we did conferences together those years ago, it's 90% perspiration and 10% inspiration. Is that still what you feel?
Yeah, it always, for me, it's always been hard work, and sometimes it's the third or fourth draft of a song, or I write a song and then throw away the tune and try and write a new song. That's just how it is for me. It's a little bit like mining. Not that I've ever been a miner, but
you imagine it's like that.
You've been a kind of a Morris miner, really.
You think so? Yeah, a bit like that. Yes, I mean, I did once upon we many years ago. My wife and I were in a shopping centre. Something I try to avoid if I possibly can.
Amen to that, my dear brother.
We found ourselves in a jeweler's. I don't know how that happened. I think I got guided into a jeweler's. And and my wife was interested in this little pair of very modest earrings, little stud earrings with a little diamond in them, So the salesperson, obviously trying to sort of, because I was thinking, you want that, for that little thing, you want all that money, and he explained. He said, well, to get 1 carat of diamond, you've got to shift about 25 tons of rock and other undiamond stuff, until you get that carat. And I thought, I think we're in the same business, because that's how it feels when I'm trying to dig out a special lyric. Sometimes
that's what Graham. Do you remember this? I just because there are so many things that we're going to talk about over this time. I don't care if we go over. This is my last one for a bit, and hey, they're sticking me under an anaesthetic, so I'm going to let it all hang out. But I remember that conference because I was your MD for Servant King, and the first time I ever played it, I remembered thinking. I came home to Sue, and I said, "This is a stunning song. The whole." Hold that. It's that.
Hang on a minute, I've switched off the piano. I've switched off the piano.
It's okay. That will hurt. And then that thing. It starts in the minor, and then it goes to this is our God to the E flat major, and it was. I thought for a Christian song, because I'd come out of the classical world. You know, I was in the classical world. I was about to go become a megastar opera singer. At that point, I wasn't, and I just thought, you know, opera was my classical music was my thing, and what I saw was structure, and then lyric that was attached. That the lyric matched the portent of the music, so there was a matching between the two, and that was the first time for a lot. Well, you know, since Wesley had started writing, and you know, there was it was exciting for me, and so when could you just turn the piano on for me a little bit, because I had come across that, and we'd met. I will talk about that in a second, but the song that had struck Sue and I when we were younger, and that we used to sing. And it struck me as a young guy, and it went, "Is a rich man with more than a poor man?
Yes, yeah.
Is a stranger with less than a friend? Is a baby with more than an old man? Your beginning worth more than your end? Is a president worth more than his assassin? Does your value decrease with your crime? Like when Christ took the place of Barabbas," I'm going through, "would you say he was wasting his time? Well, how much do you think you are worth, boy? Will anyone stand up and say, would you say that a man is worth nothing until someone is willing to pay?" Now, those lyrics were so dense. They were so, and then what, have you heard that his name is called Jesus? Would you say that the price was too dear? Held to the cross, not by nails, but by love. It was you broke his heart, not the spear. Would you say that you were worth what it cost him? You say no, but the price stays the same. If it don't make you cry, laugh it off, pass it by. But just remember the day when you throw it away, that he paid what he thought you were worth. And that struck me as a young man coming out of the Christian Brethren. And it was like a revelation, and it moved me. Every time I sing it, it nearly moves me to tears.
Wow.
And what you wrote that in '74, you said earlier, didn't you?
Yeah, about 1974, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, come and sit down, sir. I just wanted to play that because I thought actually a lot of people out there don't know that song, or a lot of them remember it and go, "Wow, I haven't heard that one for a long time." Do you know what? I should have recorded it, and now I've thought about it, I will.
No, there is still time.
There's still time.
There is still time.
But Graham, where did that lyric come? Well, you must have been about 10 when you wrote that, mustn't you?
Oh, yeah, no, 9 or 10. No, well, actually, there is a story. I was working with a team, and we used to go around and visit schools and colleges and share our faith, get people talking about the Christian faith and what it meant. Oh. So, and one of the guys who was one of our speakers, a guy called Clive, Yes. Clive.
Yes.
So he started using a story about when his wife lost their engagement ring, and all the drama that came out of that. You know, it wasn't. But the point he brought out of it, he said, well, this ring actually wasn't worth a whole lot because we didn't have very much money when we got engaged, but it meant everything. You know, to his wife and him as well. The fact it was lost was such a big drama, and such a heartbreaking thing. They did find it, by the way, but they were taking the U-bend off the kitchen sink and all this sort of thing to find it. Yeah, they eventually found it. But that struck me of here's something which is not of great material worth, but actually it's worth a whole lot to somebody because of a relationship. And so I wanted to sort of apply that as he did in his preaching. I thought if I could write a song which talks about the value of a person and then ends, you know, with this kind of punchline at the end, you know, which is, there it is, once and for all, the statement has been made. God has said, how much he regards us to be worth, and it's all there on the cross. You know, it's God on the cross, as has often been said. It's God in Christ,
Yes.
reconciling the world to
The
himself.
world to himself, yeah. And actually what's lovely is that it ends with a challenge, doesn't it? So how much do you think you are worth, boy?
You think he is worth?
He is worth, yeah, sorry. He is worth. Will anyone, I can't remember now, what's the last one? Yeah, tell me, what are you willing to give him in return for the price that he paid?
Yeah.
We used to use it when we went to prisons. We visited Borstalls a lot and singing in there. And we used to sing that song out to them, and it moved them a lot, actually.
Yeah.
And it was used it for years. Used it for years and years and years, because it was one of those few songs that spoke. Graham, were you always... What did you start out doing? I mean, were you a singer-songwriter to begin with, or what happened? Because people don't know that story either.
Yeah. Well, when I was a teenager, we had a little band with my brother and sister and some friends from our church, and we used to go out and wherever, whoever would have us, and we'd use our music to try and draw a crowd and get people again talking about the Christian faith and so on. So that's where I kind of found out that I could write songs. And when that band broke up, when we all went off to college, I carried on writing, and I didn't really have any choice. I didn't have a band anymore, so I didn't sing. I wasn't the lead singer or anything, but I just had to develop a style. And at the time, there was a rise in popularity of kind of singer-songwriter music. You know, Simon and Garfunkel,
Harold King,
Al Stewart, and there was a whole, you know, Americans, UKs. There was a whole new wave, and I just loved that music because it was very lyrical. It told a story. It was very personal. You know, you could sit in a room with a bunch of folks and sing those kind of songs. You know, and I just started to dig into that kind of genre, and ended up. I went to college to learn to be a teacher, but by the time I finished my course, I just about had enough songs to do a concert, you know, a short concert. And I thought, well, let's have a gap year and see how it goes, you know. And
you haven't had it. You've been continuing that gap year.
I'm still in the gap year. Yes, I am. One thing led to another. But it was all story songs, singer-songwriter, you know. And in that, you know, that was a great era when people really thought about lyrics. It wasn't just the sound of the words, you know, it was what story is being told, you know. And people it was the days, you know, when people would analyze the Beatles' latest lyrics for deeper meaning than they ever put in there. But exactly. The great thing was that if you could sing a few songs, you know, a whole room full of people would seriously be engaged in what you were saying and how you were saying it, you know. So it wasn't just entertainment which kind of went over your head. It was what's your story? What's your philosophy of life? What do you believe? You know, if you're this,
there was a narrative that people were willing to follow, and actually, you're quite right. Do you know, I remember Stevie Wonder when the album "Songs in the Key of Life." I was a real kind of soul funk kind of guy. I loved that. I mean, of course, I was training as a singer and all the rest of it, but my background was funk. And when Songs in the Key of Life came out, I remember sitting, and I bought at incredible cost. I bought the album, and this double album, and I opened it out, and he was there describing in this great bit, you know, looking at the design of the album, and then looking at each one of the songs that he wrote, which was a classic, each one of them, and each one of them telling a story, and he explained the story in the sleeve notes. It was exactly right. And Simon and Garfunkel the same, and Billy Joel, when he was writing, you know, he came up with stories for each one of his. Bernie Taupin was writing, and we would Nights in White Satin. Who knows what that means? I'm still trying to work it out. But that's where you came into, and I suppose you were going around in the 70s, and you're older than I am. Not a lot, but you're older than I am. I was a boy when I met you, and I met you in 80. When did we meet? 82, wasn't it?
I was trying to work that. It must have been around there because we did some things together in with Luis Palau, didn't we? At the QPR Stadium. Yeah,
We did. What days they were. It was. I think suddenly I think it was something to do. Somebody asked if I would come and sing a song. Right. That was the first thing. If I would do a song, one song at the one of the meetings. I think they'd extended the meetings, the Luis Palau meetings, and the band that they had used, which was a Salt Mine band, were booked elsewhere. So I was then asked if I would form the band for it and sing a song. So I think I tend to God be the glory, to God be the glory, to God be the glory for the things he... I could just about sing it in those days. And I sung that, and then you came along and did a song. And at the end of it, you said, you talked to me and said, you know, would you come and do a gig? So the band that we used, which was, I think, Simon Death on bass, Martin Neal on drums, Neil Costello on guitar, and some of the Neil Costello is now he engineers for many of my albums, or still now today. Yeah. And so you know these people that we and then we used then we started going around. I remember driving your Passat around the country. That's what I remember.
The red Passat.
The red Passat. Do you remember that?
I do. It was a great little car. Yeah.
And you used to say, "Go faster," and which is quite funny because my wife spent the whole of her life saying, "Could you go slower? Could you go slower?" So we used to get to the gigs and it was just you and I and a DX7. You owned a DX7 keyboard.
Oh yes.
Do you remember that? And it would be the breaking the breaking of the dawn, wasn't it?
He took the breaking of the bread.
He took the breaking of. Can you remember that song? Do you remember the? I can't, do you know I couldn't play it? Do you know,
I used to. Well, here you go.
Pick it up.
I just happen to have a guitar here.
Oh, that's useful.
Well, so it was. It went like sort of.
That's right. That's it. Oh yeah.
And the whole song was kind of. I was standing in the shadows, right, reading at the breaking of the bread.
It was gravelly, wasn't it? It was a gravelly Graham.
Gravelly Graham, yeah.
And I would be doing all that kind of.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah. Can you still remember that?
Yeah, I do. Go on, sing. Come on, sing some verses for it.
Something. Let me think. Well, I was standing in the shadows, man, I wished I'd not been born, rubbing shoulders with the soldier boys who laughed and mocked to scorn my lord. I could hardly recognize his face, his body was so torn. I knew this was Jesus, and soon he will be dead. And so,
it's so brilliant to hear that again.
Great song.
Another great song. It needs reviving. That's just another revival song. Yeah.
And another.
Now you're putting in mind. I should do a whole album of Kendrick songs. That's what I'm going to do.
I've been waiting for someone to do a tribute album. You know.
Yeah. Hey, no, absolutely.
And here is your man.
And here is your man. No, we've recorded a number, and in fact, the reason you're here tonight is because. We suddenly, Mark Edwards, who's done a number of things with you, he's produced my records for the last 10 years or so, 11 years. And we have now this kind of real relationship of trust between us. You know, that kind of thing that you build and we arrange as we're doing it and we're going it and that's it. And he said, "Oh, have you thought for the Christmas album of the song Adore?"
Oh yeah.
Can you do that? Could you just sing it for them? Because I don't know it well enough. Can you just do a little bit of it? It's going to come on the Christmas album.
Okay, so. You stepped down from heaven, humbly you came. Light of the world, here to save. Something like that. in a starlit manger, Emmanuel, light of the world, here to save. Here comes the chorus. Adore, come let us adore. Oh, come let us adore him, the Lord. Worship Christ the Lord, and all that is within us adore.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
And Mark played it to me, and I have to say that I didn't know it, Graham. Sorry, I didn't know it.
What?
And I know.
Okay.
But look, we've not been playing for long enough together. It's been a long time. And so suddenly it just really, going, oh, come let us adore him, into that space that is a famous carol. It's echoing that idea.
Yeah,
and I just thought, right, that's it. And he just went, I think we should do this one. And so, and then hence we then got in contact, and here we are today.
Ta-da.
We did a lot of what I would call the big songs of the 80s together. I remember sitting in your lounge when we did. It doesn't matter about the piano. I'll just Lord, the light of your light is shining in the midst of the darkness, shining. Jesus, light of the world, shine upon us. Set us free by the truth you now bring us. Shine on me. Shine on me. Shine, Jesus, shine. I remember doing was sitting in your house in the southeast London going, and then lit right in that thing, and it became the arrangement that then went into the hymn, into Spring Harvest Songbook for that year.
Wow!
And it became. Tell us the story of that one.
Oh boy! Well, I sometimes wish there was a very dramatic story or angelic visitations or something like that.
Make one up. Make one up. They won't
make one up. Yeah. But I was writing furiously at that time, writing a lot of stuff as part of a very lively church in London, which was doing all sorts of really innovative things. It was just a great place to be. Loads of young people, and in the midst of that, I was kind of listening to what the preachers were preaching and what people were doing, and I would turn it into songs, just kind of very spontaneously, naturally. And I was doing that with lots of songs. And at that period of time, I remember there was a big emphasis on the presence of God, and there was a real desire in our hearts that you could actually experience God's presence, not just as a concept, but, God really with us. Yeah. And those whole things of, well, how do you draw near to God? God is God. How do you come close to God? Those kind of thoughts. And then this longing, which was so big in our hearts, that we wanted to see the nation, and not just but the nations, discovering the love of God and the message of Jesus and so on. So all those things were wrapped up together. And, so I started writing, and initially I wrote the 3 verses. And they were so kind to me at the church. They let me try out new songs. At the beginning, just in the warm-up time, while people gather. We had some really big meetings there in South London, Southeast London. And I remember trying
It was called Ichthus, wasn't it?
Ichthus Christian Fellowship. Yeah, that's right. The fish sign.
Yeah.
And so I remember trying out these 3 verses like a hymn, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I have to say, it was. I could tell that people were totally underwhelmed. Actually,
Overcome with indifference.
Yeah, they were. There was a kind of a muted. Well, there's Graham and there's another song tonight. What a surprise! But so I kind of, quietly put it away and reviewed it. So sometimes it's good just to have a break from a song you've been working on, come back to it fresh. And I think 1 or 2 people have said to me, and I agree with them, this song sounds like a verse that needs a chorus, sounds like verses.
Yes.
And I picked up my guitar once, one afternoon, and thought, okay, let's take a look at this song. And, well, I don't know how and when the muse settles on your shoulder, but somehow within a short time, that chorus had come, those words, shine, Jesus, shine, which sounded maybe a bit sort of old hat now, but at the time, that was really fresh language,
completely.
in a worship song. And that kind of came, and I'd written the chorus in quite a short time, really. And it felt good, but I had no idea where that song would go.
You had no idea. I came home to I think it was Lutway. We were living in Streatham at the time, St. Wreatham.
You came to visit.
In fact, Sue's going to tell a quick story.
You came to visit. In fact, that is my story about how everything went wrong for me one day. When Jonathan had invited you and Jill, and I had never met you. And so I was a little bit anxious about having you, but I thought, no, this is fine. Jonathan talks very highly of them as a lovely couple, so this is fine. And I had the worst day at work that I've ever had. I had a big row with someone, and I've never had a row with someone at work before or since. Travelling home, the track blew up in front of the train as it was coming into the station, so it turned around and went away again. I had to catch a bus home. When I got home, I thought, right, okay, let's rush around to get the dinner sorted.
You put it on it.
And the beef casserole was still sitting completely cold in the oven. It hadn't started automatically as it should have done. So I had to put that on quickly. And as everyone knows, if you cook beef casserole really quickly, you get tough casserole. And I was sort of doing the mackerel pate and so on. And the lemon meringue pie was for dessert. And so you lovely people arrived. Jill can't eat fish, so that was the mackerel pate out the window. The beef casserole was such a disaster.
You couldn't chew it.
And you were so polite. And then you saw the lemon meringue pie and you said, my favourite, this is fantastic. And I thought, phew, at last. I cut into it, and whatever I'd done to it meant that the middle bit hadn't set, and it just ran all over the place.
And you said, have you got a straw? That was your line. Have you got a straw?
Have you got a straw?
Have you got a straw? Oh, it's okay, I'll eat the top. Have you got a straw? And it became the story. She said, that's it, we can't ever invite them again. There's never going to be a time we ever invite them again. Because it's
I was just so embarrassed. But actually, do you know what? You're lovely people, and you just laughed and we laughed, and it was just one of those things. Because actually, hospitality is not about the food, is it? It's about being together and just sharing together. And it was good to chat, and it was good to get to know you both, because you sort of taken on this young man from my hands and sort of used him in different places in different ways. And I was grateful for that.
And I'd learned such a lot from you, Graham. I'd learned, because we worked together for a number of years before I went off to do postgraduate studies.
You used to go touring round, didn't you? Was it Mission England or something like that? Prayer for the Nation.
Pray for the Nation.
Oh,
up in
right.
Whitley Bay. Whitley Bay, don't you remember it? In snow. Whitley Bay. Pray for the Nation. And it was Lyndon Bowling. 95% of everybody who's ever lived breathed air. He was that kind. He would come up with a man with statistics, and we would sit there as the band, and you would lead worship. But I learned so much from watching you, because you were always. I'd come back and I'd say, Graham would start, he'd lead, and then you'd stand back and let it happen, or you'd look to me and say, could you take it from here? And And I then learnt how to.
That's been
not
how you.
It's
you've
been
led
how I've led
since.
worship ever since.
Not look at me, look how wonderful I am, but start people off, get them going, and then just step away from the microphone and let everyone else sing. And that was a real lesson for you, wasn't it, to learn at that stage?
There were a lot of things. Your ministry developed quite. I mean, you were the first person for me that in this country, particularly, you were the grandpappy of worship leaders and writing songs for the church that said something, that led to a plethora of all the people that we've got now.
It was your book too, wasn't it? The book on worship was the sort of the revelation for so many.
So tell us how that changed for you between singer-songwriter, then to that passion for music that the church would sing and give people bigger vision of God.
Yeah, I mean, it was something that was happening, when I started out, I mentioned earlier about being at college and writing songs and sharing my faith through through songs. And that was during a season when a whole scene opened up of artists, Christian artists, and there were concerts happening all over the place. It was brilliant, actually. It was such a creative time. But another thing was happening in that there was a whole kind of spiritual renewal movement happening in the churches. And I was influenced by that, as pretty well everybody I knew was, as it started at grassroots and grew. And this was really all about discovering a deeper experience of God, and I've grown up in the Christian faith. But I remember when I was at college thinking, well, I read these stories about people from other places and other times and in the Bible, and all sorts of things are happening. Why doesn't stuff happen, if God is real and this is all true, And a lot of us were on that journey. And then we started to meet people who had experienced God in a deeper way, and they talked about being filled with the Holy Spirit. We thought, well, what's that? Is that okay? Is that dodgy? And anyway, to cut a long story short, I was one among thousands at that time, probably hundreds of thousands, who did experience being filled with the Holy Spirit. And that changed how I related to God, I think before it was very much a kind of a cerebral thing. I mean, it was a real faith, but it was more of a head faith. But there was a whole depths of me which hadn't been unlocked. And when I was filled with the Holy Spirit, that started to get unlocked. And that's where I started to discover that worship is not just singing about God, it's actually singing to God, and it is experiencing the presence of God as you worship, And that change in me then started to change what I wrote. And also as I began to be part of church gatherings where worship became, from hymn singing, we moved to, as it were, singing to God and experiencing his presence as you sang, and that required a different kind of song. So all that was happening, and events, I mentioned this event called Spring Harvest, which is at its peak, you get 80,000 people coming along each year, and people were hungry for new songs. It was a new generation, really, that was finding its voice. And so partly out of what was happening to me, and also seeing a need and getting some nudges from people that knew me, I remember, in fact, I mentioned my friend Clive earlier, I remember complaining to him about some of these rather simplistic little ditties we were expected to sing, And he took me to task and said, Graham, well, if you're a songwriter, do better, write some better ones, And that I just needed that push to start to write songs that everybody could sing.
And we're grateful that you have done.
Because in doing so, what you did was you changed the barometer. Actually started to change, and it started to become, in churches, it started to head towards the fair weather, and I think your own personal integrity was what always struck me. And I used to come home to Sue, and one of the things that I'd got out of Christian music for was because I saw a lot of flim-flam artists and things happening that weren't good. And I heard things and did that, and I just said, no, that's not going to happen. And I went into opera, but I always used to say the person that I saw who exemplified the best in all of what was happening was you, because you were writing with integrity, and the word integrity was the one thing that seems to always have run through you, Graham. And I was always thankful to God for you and for what you brought to my life at that time, which was significant. You can't even you can't underestimate. And what I've been doing now and having the national and international ministry that I developed was a lot to do with you, and a lot to do with the relationship that we had first of all. And you're talking about God in the way that you did. I came from, like you, a cerebral, conservative evangelical background, theologically sound, but I knew about God, but I didn't know God. It was that. I knew about him, but didn't know him. And one of the songs that, I don't know whether you've done this for a long time, but one that touched me, and I recorded it years ago, 28 years ago, was, I think it was 28 years ago, was Such Love.
Oh, yeah.
Do you still play that one?
I have done, actually. Yeah, I can have a go.
Go on, have a go, because I think it's one that, I recorded and I love it, and I just think it's, just pull up the word. I know it's one of those where I had to pull up the words because they're so strophic, and I forget verses. But again, it's because you wrote hymns. Effectively, you wrote hymns rather than just, as people used to say, we'll have a chorus time now. Do you remember that? It was, now we'll have some choruses.
Yeah.
And it was for the children, or, it was CSSM or whatever. But I think it was D, wasn't it? Or whatever. Or was it? Such love.
We can do it. Yeah. Oh, that was E flat just there, so we could stay.
Yeah, E flat.
That's quite.
That's good.
For it.
I'll play along.
I might have changed the chord slightly, so watch out for that.
Yeah, okay, I'll just go with it.
Yeah. Such love, pure as the widest, such love weeps for the shame I know, such love paying the debt I owe. Oh Jesus, such love.
Right, let me sing this verse. You ready? Such love, stilling my restlessness. Such love, filling my emptiness. Such love, showing me holiness. Oh Jesus, such love. Over to you.
Okay. Such love springs from eternity. Such love streaming through history. Such love, fountain of life to me. Oh Jesus, such love.
Right, the first verse again. Let's just sing that. Everybody can sing it.
Such love,
pure as the whitest snow.
such love weeps for the shame
I know.
such love paying
Oh, Jesus, such love. What a privilege to sing it with you, and I know so many people are going to be really blessed by that tonight. I think actually that we're way over what we should be doing, but I don't care. This is we've got an early start in the morning, but Graham, it's fine, right?
Thank you, techies.
We've got techies writing to us saying it's fine, but we've kept you for 3/4 of an hour here. It's fine. Carry on. I know. I think people are loving it, and I think actually that people have been, so that I know you know this, but people have been blessed by your ministry in a way over decades now, and it's a frightening thought to think that we've been going that long, and what you brought to people has been so significant in their spiritual journeys. And you've managed to use language that people can relate to and they can find God to. I mean, that's the way they found you. Pointed the way. Of late, what have you been doing? What's been your thing? So we can finish with all that. Yeah. Where are you going?
Well, I'm still writing. I write by myself. I write with other people, and occasionally come up with something is a little bit special. So that's good, and I particularly enjoy writing with what I suppose I call the next generation or generations, and that's a great way of building relationship and also trying to share a little bit of what I've learned and also receive back. I probably get more than I give, to be honest, because it just keeps me on my toes to be writing some of these bright young things and fresh ideas. So there's that. I'm involved with my local church down here in Kent, which is a beautiful place to be. A lot of good friendships there. I lead worship there, maybe once a month or so, part of the team. Yeah. Thankfully not in charge, which is great.
No, that's the best way, isn't it? Hop in and hop out.
Yeah, it is. And as yourself, I've had to move online with a lot of stuff. So, we've been trying to keep the website busy with lots of stuff. I did a couple of series which weren't musical things, but they were, for example, the Psalms. There are many Psalms of lament. And I thought this season that we're in is the time when we need to use those, and that's what they're there for, because life, there's a lot to lament about in life. But the great thing about the Psalms is the Psalms of lament, they always point you to a bigger picture. Yes. They start where you are, in your pain, in your suffering, in your questions, in your anger, or whatever it is. They're so honest, the Psalms. They're almost frighteningly honest, Yeah. But that tells you that we can pray honestly to God. But a Psalm takes you on this step-by-step journey into a God who is bigger than these issues and problems, bigger than our problems, and is a God of love and mercy and perspective changes. So I did a series on that called Lockdown Laments, which I think...
How can people get that? How can people get that? How they go? They just go to Make Way Music or Graham Kendrick Music?
They go to grahamkendrick.co.uk, which is my website. Okay. And they scroll down there, they'll find Lockdown Laments there, which are very short. They're in about two or 3 minutes each. Yes. I kept them short.
That's great.
And as well as that, there's songs, there's, leading worship, worship at home, during lockdown, that kind of very personal, stripped down, simple acoustic worship, and lots of other resources as well. So please visit there and enjoy, make benefit of what's there. I'm missing traveling.
Yes, aren't we all? Oh, doing concerts. Just, we had 42 concerts or something booked throughout the year and something like that, and we had to cancel them all, and we haven't been, this has been the way that at least we've got, we've had the Steinway to do, and we've had loads of guests, but it's not the same as performing in front of a live audience, is it?
Yeah.
Just nothing like it, and that's been tough. It has been tough. So we're looking forward to getting back. Are you looking forward to getting back to a real audience?
Me too, definitely. Yes, I love the stimulus of it and the interaction and meeting people, and so it's so energizing,
Yeah, I think that's it. I think actually recording has been fun. While we could, we recorded albums, and we went in whilst it was open, and we had the windows open, and we had the window of opportunity open, and we got in and recorded 2 albums. We're going to do a Christmas album, as you know, when we get back. But it was great playing with musicians again, getting in the studio, playing with top-class musicians, and just the juices flowing. It was fantastic to do it.
Yeah.
And well, we can, look, Graham, we look forward to recording your song. And what I would welcome you coming, and once we are finished with all this, actually coming into the studio and doing a session together and doing playing live in the Steinway room and just singing your songs. Actually, it'd be lovely. Yeah. Be lovely to have you here and to share with our audience who are expanding by the day. And it's lovely. It's lovely having you with us. It was just such a
lovely. What a treat.
What a treat for especially as the last one for a bit. As we go into our quiet time, and
well, we certainly wish you all the best for that. I know a lot
mate.
of people are praying for you.
Thank
so
you.
we wish you all the best for that, and thank you for all your kind words and encouragements to me as well.
Well, they're all true. Bless you. We're going to sing. We're going to sing
I'm gonna move.
a
Lovely
song.
to see you, Graham.
A song that we recorded some years ago of yours. One of my favourites. One which I got a #1 on the what charts was it? Not the YouTube. It was the Apple charts, and we got a #1. We displaced Matt Redman for 2 weeks at Christmas with this one, which was my joy and delight. And and this one, when you're gone, it will be Thorns in the Straw. Just such a beautiful song, and I don't care what time of year it is. It's beautiful. Yeah. God bless you, Graham, and give our love to Jill.
Will do. Thank you, John. Thank you, Sue.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye, mate. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Okay. Thorns in the Straw. Thanks, Rachel. Is this for anybody, Sue?
I would like to mention Jill Hunkin. Your birthday is on Tuesday, and also Sarah Portius. You always miss out because your birthday is bank holiday weekend. It was last weekend. Happy birthday for last weekend.
Since the day the angel came, it seemed that everything had changed. The only certain thing was the child that moved within, on the road that would not end, winding down to Bethlehem, so far away from home. Just a blanket on the floor of a vacant cattle store, and there the child was born. She held him in her arms, and as she laid him down to sleep, she wondered, will it always be so bitter yet so sweet? And did she see her in the straw by his hair thorn? And did she smell her on that starry night. Then the words of ancient seers tumble down the centuries. A virgin shall conceive, God with us, Prince of Peace, man of sorrow, strangest name. Oh Joseph, there it comes again. So bitter yet so sweet, and each is in her in the straw, by his head a thorn, and did she smell her in the air on that starry night? As she watched him through the years, her joy was mingled with her tears. She'd feel it all again, the glory and the shame. When the miracles began, she wondered, who is this man? And where will this all end? Till against the darkening sky, the sun she loved was lifted high, and with his dying breath she heard him say, Father, forgive, and to the criminal beside, today with me in paradise, so bitter yet so sweet. And did she see there in the straw, by his head a thorn? And did she smell her in the air on that starry night? And did she hear angels sing not so far away? Till at last the sun rose blood red in the morning sky. Well, that was Graham Kendrick's
Beautiful.
beautiful song, Thorns in a Straw. And if anybody wants that, that's still on the Christmas album. I'm going to do a song, and then Susan will do some notices, and then we're going to sing a couple of songs, and we're going to go. We've got an early morning tomorrow morning. We have to be up at St Heliers and Epsom for blood test early because we have to shield away from everybody else, and we have blood tests and COVID tests and everything else tomorrow morning, and then I've got dialysis in the afternoon, and then dialysis next morning, 6:15 in the morning, and then go up on that Tuesday, up both of us up to sit and have a few tests, I imagine, and chest x-rays and all the rest of it to make sure we're okay. It can still be cancelled, so your prayers are required. Wasn't it great, everybody? Can I just have a few hearts?
They absolutely loved it.
For Graham Kendrick, because Graham is the man you see. He's one of those very rare creatures. He is the man you see on the screen. And I've loved him for many years as just Graham Kendrick, and it was great in those early years in the 80s, and those early 80s when I was working for him as his MD and a arranger and playing that first time I heard, playing in the band,
beautiful,
all of those.
Beautiful.
So
lovely to have him.
It was lovely to have him, and I'm very grateful to him giving this time. And it was a lovely way. Yeah, I don't care
Lots
a little
of
bit.
hearts. Lots
of
of
hearts.
Yeah.
All right. This one was requested by Rachel, and I sing it for all of you. And I don't know whether I've got the voice to sing it now. I'm very tired.
Well, you're sounding stunning, as Zena said. So
Who said that?
Zena.
Zena
in France, and I've known Zena for years and years. One a respected singer from Trinity College of Music days, and she's been singing in where is she?
Is she in Toulouse,
Toulouse.
with Samantha?
Toulon, or Toulouse, I can't remember now. And she, if you remember, sung the first verse in our Hark the Herald Angels Sing. And I would like to have her...
Once in Royal.
Once in Royal David City, that's right. Once in Royal David City in our Christmas Carol service. So many great things that you can see on the page of her singing and so many other people singing over these 58 weeks that we've been going. And we do want to be back as soon as we can be, but we're going to be sensible and but we want to come back to the JV community. You have sustained us, and we discussed this with Andy today. You have been the reason we've survived. I've survived. I don't know how I would have done it without you.
That's true. That's true. We have so valued you all, so thank you so much for just being there, and particularly for being here with us now, and for just looking out for us and caring for us.
Oh Lord my God, when I in awesome wonder consider all the works thy hand hath made, I see the stars, I hear the mighty thunder, thy path through half the universe displayed. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. When Christ shall come, we shout of acclamation, and take me home. What joy shall fill my heart? Then shall I bow in humble adoration, and there proclaim, my God, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art.
That little
Wow.
bell
Yes.
told me I have to take these dreadful drugs that make me feel so ill.
So he
10
has
o'clock.
to take them at 10 o'clock in the morning and 10 o'clock in the evening. And he's not allowed to eat 2 hours before or 1 hour afterwards, which
Apart
is
from that, it's
fine,
fine.
except I completely screwed up and gave him his tea at 4 minutes to 8 yesterday. So the poor chap had 4 minutes in which to eat as much as he could, and then he had to wait until 11 o'clock afterwards. So I apologise for that yesterday.
That was quite amusing.
Okay, so just a few little notices from me. So let's have a go with JV Live Tech, our lovely tech team running that lovely little website that just makes all the difference. So if you want to know anything, just want to find anything, you go to their website, which is www.jvlivetech.uk, and they will have all the notices, past notices as well. So if you think, oh, actually, I know there was something that I wanted to follow up, it was a few weeks ago, you can can go there and you can find that out. So thank you so much for that one. What else can we have? What are we going to put up, Rachel? Oh, yes. If you are thinking Jonathan's going to be missing and we're just going to miss him so much, which of course we will, you will, never fear, you can read his books. Because actually, as people have said, it's a bit like having Jonathan there chatting to you when you're reading his books. And don't worry that we're both in surgery, and so I'm not going to be able to do it. I have my team around me. I have lots and lots of people locally and from a bit further afield who are offering help. And so we will be able to send out any books or CDs that you want. A lot of the songs tonight have been from Hymns Project 2. So if you've enjoyed some of those, the Swing Down, the What a Difference is on Moments. That's right, it's on Moments, isn't it? I just realised that there were a couple on the list that you were going to sing that you didn't sing, but never mind. Doesn't matter. But the website is www.jonathanveira.com, and the shop is in there, and everything is as cheap as chips at the moment. So those of you who would like to, please do order them, and we can get those sent out to you. For those of you who are very kindly supporting us financially, and words cannot express how grateful we are, it's either paypal.me/Jonathan Veira, all one, and that will take you through to a special link. Make sure it's a picture of Jonathan before you donate. Or you can write to me on sue@jonathanveira.com, and I can give you details of a bank account to put the money into. So thank you so much to those of you who have given so incredibly generously. And once again, if that is not something that you are able to do, please think nothing more of it. It's about... we all do what we can do. And there are some things that only you can do. Those of you who can knit and crochet, make us wonderful gift. Those of you who can pray and who can think, then you pray and you think for us. And those of you who have a bit of extra money, you very kindly donate to us. And we are just grateful for anything that anyone can do, and we don't think for a second, they haven't given any money. We're just grateful for what we do.
Though it's 4 minutes past 10, I want to say to you all that these past 58 weeks have been, it's been quite staggering how, as somebody said, it's been a work of God, I think, to bring us closer together. And such a surprise. We didn't plan it. We didn't come up with any idea. We sung a song, The Lord Bless You and Keep You, and it went from there. We just wanted to bring comfort to people in a time of panic and a time of fear. And what you've done is you've blessed us and kept us, almost literally. So when you give, if you do give, you can give a $5. It doesn't matter, actually, what you give. What you bring is what you bring. And if you don't bring anything, you bring yourselves. And that's what can I give him, pours out. What that song by Graham, what do you think? Will anybody, it doesn't matter what you give us, you just give us yourselves. And that has been one of the most moving periods of our lives to see this. And I have to say that you lot have been, you're the weirdest bunch of people I've ever had the pleasure to know. And I love that. I love weird. Weird suits me fine. I am weird myself.
He's weird.
And so I love the fact that you're such a diverse group. From people like, on one side of the scale, John Dick, completely out of it. I don't know what he's on, but he's...
I think he needs more opera in his life, actually.
He needs more opera, that's what he needs, and I'm going to give you that, John. And those of you who just... To Rob Barron and to Karen Bate, to Gillian Hunkin, to Michelle Stevens, to so many of you, to David Goodwin, to David Hicks. There's so many that we could mention. Hundreds of you who have meant so much. Michael Cooper, Mike Bailey. I'm just thinking off the top of my head. Colin Matthews, Adrian over in the Isle of Wight, and those of you who've made a difference to our lives, we thank you.
And that is every single one of you.
Every single one.
And we don't say that because it's a glib thing to say.
Comment and don't comment.
But we were talking about you all to our friends today, and just thanking God that we opened up the Steinway room and put the lights on, and you all turned up. Because actually, without an audience, it would have just fizzled out. So thank you so much for joining us and making our lives so different.
And then
Can I just say, before we carry on, we are so grateful to the tech team, and no more so than now, because we will take next week off, and then after that, which will be the 20th of June, there will be a show going out courtesy of the tech team, and they will start it at 8 o'clock. There will be no preamble, so don't worry if you don't get the normal music and pictures and so on beforehand. It will start bang on at 8 o'clock. And we love our tech team with all our hearts, and we are so grateful that they keep us going. And they will be maintaining a JV in the Steinway room presence from the 20th of June, and we are so grateful for that. And who knows, maybe at some point Jonathan might appear on your screens when he can, but as he's not going to be able to laugh for a few weeks, we might have to be a bit careful on that one. Me too. What am I going to do without laughing? I don't know. But official updates on the medical stuff will also happen through JV and the live tech, and we appreciate that the sort of live tech team will be doing that, and we will make sure that you get the information. We know that you care, and we will make sure that somehow you will get the information. We promise.
We sing this one for Fiona Dick.
We do, because she's been married to John Dick for 18 years.
She deserves our prayers, our thanks. But also for David and Roz Clift.
Yes, who so enjoyed meeting you all last week in the Steinway room. Thank you so much for making them feel so welcome. They loved it.
And you're going to be praying for him and her, and for actually a lot of the people in the unit. But this goes like this. Go peaceful in gentleness through the violence of these days. Give freely, show tenderness in all your ways. Do you think so?
Through darkness, in troubled times, let holiness be your aim. Seek wisdom, let faithfulness burn like a flame.
God speed you, God lead you, and keep you wrapped around his heart. May you be known by love.
Be righteous, speak truthfully in a world of greed and lies. Show kindness, see everyone through heaven's eyes.
God hold you, enfold you, and keep you wrapped around his heart. May you be known by love. And our last song actually goes out to Lucas and his mum, who's had a fall and will be in hospital for 3 weeks, and all the concerns.
To use this, just have another break before you start singing.
Okay, well, I'm just doing Lucas thing. And we sing this song for her and for him, and as they are over in Australia worrying about her now, and we do that. And this final song, as we leave you now, the Lord bless you and keep you.
Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine on you. The Lord bless you and keep you and give you his peace. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine on you. The Lord bless you and keep you and give you his peace and give you his peace. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord turn his face toward you. The Lord bless you and keep you and be gracious to you. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord turn his face toward you. The Lord bless you and keep you and be gracious to you and be gracious to you. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine on you.